As the Greeks and the Romans understood, the voice is central to advocacy of any kind. Any court that you can think of in the United States, any arbitration, any jury, anywhere, the voice has to carry the argument. And I have, over the years, had the benefit, really, of teaching, I'm going to say, maybe 1,000 practicing lawyers and some law students in connection with their voice. And what I find is that most everybody, maybe this is true of you, you've not had any training on the voice. It's sort of unthinkable, if I may say so, I have an editorial comment, that we are sent out to charge people money to represent them to speak without any training on the speaking. Yes, you might have done debating in high school or college. Yes, there's some moot court exercise and so forth. But the deep training of the voice that occurs, for example, in the New England Conservatory of Music, where opera singers are trained 5 hours a day, that doesn't happen for lawyers. But it can happen, and that's my point, that you can train your voice, you can get the recording machine, you can practice, you can listen to it, and then you can adjust it, and you can try it. More serious and so forth. And I'm going to mention the 5 qualities of the voice that I think are important and central to training your own voice. The 5 qualities are sound. That is, the sound of the voice. What does it sound like? We want to avoid the whining kind of a sound that drive judges from the bench. They leave the profession. They can't stand it anymore. It's really not good. 2, volume. Lawyers don't have a problem with that for the most part. That it carries into the corners of the jury box, to the arbitrators, to the judge. 3, tempo. This is a big problem for those of us who are very busy and we're doing this and we've got all these cases and we're in a hurry, and sometimes it carries right over into our argument and we're just going to cover all these points. Sometimes we take pride in how fast we speak. Isn't this wonderful? I got all these points and I'm pouring them out and I'm just as smart as I can be. But it's too fast. My point is, it's too fast. And when you start in the practice of law, you think that silence is a sign of unpreparedness. And that's not true. Silence can follow a key point. Here's what happened to this man. He was walking on the streets of Minneapolis on an evening, coming back from a restaurant, and suddenly there was a gunshot. Let it sink in. Let it sink in. So tempo is very important. Emphasis. If you graph your voice like a musical exercise, you may find that it's somewhat flat. And therefore, emphasis is something you have to get comfortable with, and your personality may have limits on that. You may have been taught as a young person, or you may think that it's not your style, and it's not good to emphasize. All I say is practice it, try it, and for the right occasion, you will want to emphasize something. You will want to put yourself into it. There are cases where you can express the need for justice with the intensity of what you are saying, because the listener keys on you. First question everybody has is, does the lawyer think that this is a good case? So emphasis is something to work on. And finally, clarity, which means exactly what you would think. Clarity is the statement of each word standing by itself, clear, understandable, slowly enough. Here is the event. This is what happened. The door opened, the person took the step inside, and everything changed. That's what happened. Clarity. And that takes practice, whether you started 6 months ago or you've been doing it for many, many years. Interestingly enough, I've done a very informal little test with trial lawyers over the years, and I ask them, some of these are very fine national leaders of the trial bar, whether they practice their voice. And I've never gotten an answer that they didn't. They all do. They all have at one time or another. They practice the voice. So that is an important thing in terms of persuasion.